Welcome, friends, to the Beaver Dam, and a big welcome to Lumar. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, Lamar here. I'm doing good, doing good. I think I'm ready to talk some scrap. I'm feeling scrappy.
Oh,
How you
yes.
doing, Beaver?
Oh, I'm doing great. So this is a video that's going to be in response to a question we actually got during Dam Find discussion. We thought we'd give it a full video's attention, and so we decided to do our first video together outside of Dam Find discussion. So this is farming just a scrap to get a little upgrade, however that song goes. You want to sing?
Take a Troy brain.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It just
so
plays obligatory. Sorry.
Oh yeah. We'll play it during the entire time on loop now. Essentially, we had someone ask, how we do it to compare to how they do it, see if there's things that we know of. And as we talked about it, we honestly found a couple things that like one of us didn't know or the other didn't know. And so we made a graphic. We had some fun, discussing this. And so we've decided to make a video out of it. And so where do we get our mats from? Where do you get your mats, Lumar, huh?
Right, so we're going to jump straight into carbonite circuit boards. So best place to farm this, I think community-wise, everyone's on the same page. I'm pretty much echoing what the community's already said on this one. It's Lightside 1C. This is the best variety of materials for carbonite circuit boards. If you do 1 or 2 refreshes of this, if you're trying to like bulk up for a project, do the math, see how many you need, and or even just doing it maybe 1 refresh a day, right? Like 2 go to your Cairo farms, 1 goes to your scrap. Whatever you're looking at. If you've got lots of Kairos from Rise of the Empire, totally get it. So yeah, 1C, pretty simple, straightforward. Just scrap what you have a lot of. Beaver showing on my own screen, it's hundreds, right? And we'll get into the packs later on, guys. But between this method and the 500 packs, you're probably never going to farm this stuff again when you reach a certain point, or at least very slowly. I'm just going to jump straight into bronzium wiring. Bronzium wiring, on the other hand, you want those Mark V Fabritechs, and when you look to see where those come from, they come from 2 places. You'll notice one is Lightside 7B. That is a long form for saying light Kairos. It's your light Cairo node. That's where you get your shock prods. So that is probably what a lot of people are already farming for Kairos, and you get those kind of as a sub, passively through those. So you definitely want those. One I want to throw out there that maybe isn't as known is a Fleet 1D, and the reason I throw that out there is if you're like me and you're in the mid game and maybe you're starting to approach end game and you've kind of started running out of things to farm fleet energy with. Don't get me wrong, I know everybody wants Gear 12 salvage, but the return on investment for the crystal refresh for the energy is not that great. I'd rather spend my Mark II currencies on that kind of stuff. This is kind of where I've been starting to put some fleet energy in, and I'm getting pretty good return on investment. I've been hoarding, I'm pushing Balin day 1, rip my pull from Morocco, but I'm not going to get into that right now. And basically, so yeah, all my excess fleet energy, after doing whatever I feel like I need to do, whatever postmarks I need to hit, this is where I'm dumping it. I've been hoarding for not even a week, and I've got over 100 bronzium wiring, and I've probably got a bunch of Fabritechs still to salvage. So this has pretty much solved my bottleneck. This is how I do it. Now, Beaver, on the other hand, he has some experience with doing the relic packs. So I want him to talk a little bit about it, because I personally don't really whale on those that much. So I don't have a lot of experience on like the amounts and is it worth it. So yeah, Beaver, take it from here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that when it comes to these fleet battles, I think it's a great point that like I'm 3 years in and I'm done with all like fleet battle farms in general. So like you'll hit a point where like you can kind of afford everything.
It's worth it. Yeah.
And so like, yeah, extra, I think it definitely can go to your bronzium wiring. But as for the overall, for the 500 crystal packs, people talk about them a ton. The 500 crystal packs come around each month, and they are phenomenal for especially carbonite circuit boards. They are the best deal you can get for crystals, and included in like if you're looking at overall amounts when you're factoring in like refreshes and everything like that, it's actually those 500 crystal packs are your best deal. So they are very, very nice. Make sure that you are keeping an eye out for bronzium wiring. They are also worth it there to a lesser degree. As you go farther and farther in, they become less worth it, where like the base price is not becoming, you know, more than what you would get regularly. But for the carbonite circuit boards, as well as the bronzium wiring, the base amount you're getting for the 500 crystals, even if you don't get more, is still higher than, you know, what would be normally farmed. And so I like to budget my crystals, you know, utilize anything I get from events and that type of thing to be able to purchase those packs each month. And so I really haven't farmed bronzium wiring in forever, just because I always have a go-to amount from the packs. So
cool. Yeah, good to know. I might try it at one point. Maybe I'll be converted to the pack mentality. It's just but yeah. Anyway, pushing new content.
It's difficult to it's difficult to justify using crystals. That's the problem.
Yeah, as always, right?
Yeah. As for going into our chromium transistors here, we got these ones right here. They are Mark 7 Blast Tech weapon mods. You just basically go looking for these as often as you can. You're not going to craft them too often. You can craft them. They are a solid, you know, transfer for chromium transistors. But overall, you're going to actually go over to your guild activity store, and right here, so right next to where the characters start in the guild tokens area, this one right here will pop up with them, and it's 10 of them for, you know, 100 guild tokens. That are a great value. And so this where the Mark 5 biotech implant, in fact, I'm willing to roll the dice.
Ooh.
I'm willing to roll the dice.
No. Beaver, think of the 500
not
packs.
really. Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
perfect.
there it is.
See, I found it. That was so many crystals just to prove a point.
Oh,
but hey,
no.
there you go. 150 guild tokens for 10 of these, and they make for some really solid stuff when you're going to scavenge. And so that's one of the ways that I've really not had to farm chromium transistors too often, is just by keeping an eye on that, because like 21 of those, and I've already got 70 more chromium transistors.
If you're really particular, you can get away with pretty much never farming those outside of that node ever again.
But Mark 7 Baw, if you do need to craft them, you're in a pinch, you're doing a lot of characters, this is another great option. You're going to be farming these just basically on the side from other things you're doing, like these ones you get from the same node that you're farming the bronzium wiring. You know, you're going to get
shock rod.
Yeah, you're going to get tons of this stuff. The only thing you're going to have to farm is the stun cuffs. Fairly easy to get. You can also request them from your guild. You know, and they sell for the same amount as these other ones, so very, very easy to kind of get what you need to. Erodium heat sinks, we're getting into dangerous territory where we're not getting a great return on investment. Going after erodium heat sinks is the last one that has like a secret thing that you can do to and that's these right here. We got our Cyanar hollow protectors, but you need to make sure that you're not just, you know, breaking them down like this, and we'll show you exactly why. If we do 20 of these, it's going to be only 2 erodium heat sinks over here. But if we instead take those 20 and we craft it into a piece, we can take that one piece that cost us 20 and it'll actually equal 5. So really easy to pick
Never
these up.
do the salvage. Always make the piece.
These are raid 1 currency. You can pick them up constantly. They're really easy to grab. Like, as you can see, I had 550 of them. Like, whenever you have some extra raid 1, grab some of these. They're going to help you relic your characters. So really none too shabby. Going into these next ones.
I know I'm very low on them from Relic 7 everything.
Yeah, I'm trying hard to just recover, just so that way I can finish the Ahsoka Rex. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Totally.
But going into the rest, as I said, there's not really super efficient choices, and so we'll hand it over to Lumar to kind of go over it, and he has a little special one towards the end, so keep an eye out.
Yes. So Electrium conductors, to quickly talk about those, this is where Mark III raid currency is going to start creeping in as probably the best option. And again, it's going to come down to your roster and what your goals are and what you're looking at. You know, if you're looking at Relic 9ing a character, you know, you got to think about how many you need total for your farm. Probably better to spend those on those more expensive ones, right? So when we're looking at those, you usually want to do the fully crafted pieces, not the salvage. And the reason for that is you get way more bang for your buck. I think one of them's worth like 12 or 13 off the top of my head. 13. Yeah. So it's if you have the materials, which These are the ones that you tend to get a stockpile of because you don't use them as often. You tend to be able to get more. The real bottleneck tends to come from the Mark 6 Carbontes, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
But
the second material in any of these are like kind of the bottleneck where you start to hit the point where you're like, I'm struggling because it costs 40 of those and then 30 of these.
You definitely start feeling the pain there. For me, like I'm going for 5 Relic 7s for Valen. I'm at the point where I can't afford it anymore through the salvage, so I'm pretty much going Mark 3 currency at that point. Again, if you have the mats, just pace yourself. Make sure you understand what your project is and how many you need. Don't just salvage them all willy nilly. Be smart about it.
And like when it comes to the Mark III raid currency, if you're not doing any big projects at the time, like I saved up every Electrium Conductor and Zimbiddle I needed for Jedi Master Luke before I even started like working on the farm, while I was like just finishing some farms in between.
Hoarding.
So like Raid 3 currency can put
important.
you a lot of the way through.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, the same thing with a lot of these. With the Zimbiddle cards, I wouldn't bother salvaging these. These are even more expensive, even harder to craft. I'd say Mark III raid currency all the way.
And you only need 10 for the Relic 7, which is real nice.
Exactly. Yeah, so I would say, Zimbiddle cards, Mark III. Same thing with impulse detectors. Again, I'm very we're singing the same tune because it's the best song to sing, guys. Don't do it. Just don't do it unless you are somehow gloriously swimming in this stuff. And even then, I would wait because you'll run out.
Yeah, the only reason I've ever done impulse detectors is just for the simple reason of like, I really need to finish this character before a deadline. And so I did, and that is the only time I've ever done that is for panic farms. So
yep, exactly. If you're panicking and you're starting to lower your efficiency in order to be effective, right? In order to get it done by a certain timeline. So at that point, you have to judge that for yourself. Last, the main one we wanted to talk about, we're skipping over area magnifiers. We're obviously skipping over droid brains, though, just to talk about it briefly. We do want to mention the Duel of the Fates assault battle really quick. And that's because, as you've heard around the community, and I'm sure people have been echoing it, it is one of the few ways you can get gear to keypads and droid brains outside of Mark III currency. Because, again, your Mark III is very valuable. You've got all these projects, you've got all this scrap, and, as you've heard, the top 3 or 4 pieces of scrap, it's only from Mark III currency. So you kind of have to balance yourself. And what helps with that? Well, if you're really competitive in territory wars, you're going to have an advantage there. But for the rest, again, it's up to your raid, and that's why people push so hard with the raid, because you want as much Mark III as physically as possible. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to throw it out there. I know I'm part of the Relic 9 club. I've got Relic 9 Queen Amidala and the Bros, and it feels good in pretty much every game mode. So I highly suggest it to anybody who's like, I need a side project, but I need it to be worth my investment. I think that's not pseudo mandatory. It's up there. I'd say it's up there. So tip for gear to keypads, and now that I've talked your ear off about Mark III raid currency, is I would actually not buy them with a Mark III. I would spend them on other ones first, and the reason for that is it's actually, if someone crunched the numbers, it is more effective to salvage the pieces that you buy with Mark II currency, as Beaver's showing off right here, than it is to spend with Mark III. It has to do with the ratios and how much the salvage is worth. Someone's done the math. Believe me, it's not me. Someone in the community. I apologize. I can't remember their name right now. I believe it was on the Reddit.
If it's you, put yourself in the comments section. We'll pin your comment.
Yeah. We'll heart it. I'll reply to it and saying you're a god among men and women. So So if you are patient and you're not dying for Mark II spending, which I don't know who you are, but maybe what you're dying for is those keypads, right? You're panic farming, you've got to get this done, GAC lock's coming up or legendary unlocks coming up, and you need to have them done in time for their event. That is a way you can get around it and pick up a couple more pieces, so keep an eye out for that. But with that, I think that's all of them.
Oh, and if you're looking for signal data,
Oh.
Farm and Cantina. I'm kidding.
I'm over here like, yeah, that's definitely, yeah.
There's a
Cantina
super secret way
refreshes.
where you, instead of farming characters, you farm signal data.
I've been spending my shard drop currency all this time. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, guys.
But, yeah.
Other than getting your 600 tickets every day, guys, which hey, if your guild requires that, you already know how that goes. Dude, Cantina refreshes, they're pseudo mandatory. So I mean, that's really where your crystal income goes most days, right? Like 300 crystals a day alone is expensive. Add that with some extra 50s, and man, you know, you're burning a hole in your wallet. So yeah, signal data. I've been a naughty boy. I don't know why I was kicked out. Let me in. So yeah, with the store, I will say for signal data, there are those daily deals. I've seen people crunch the crystal math on those, and if you get I think it's the one with 160, I think it's like the 3,200 one, people said that's actually really good value, as long as you actually care about the secondary materials. People said they've crunched the math, they say those are decent too. I don't know who the heck has 3,200 crystals lying, but hey, if you want to dolphin a little bit, if you want to, open up that credit card, give them those 3 wacky numbers, as we say in our favorite farm scrap upgrade song, that's, again, really good value. I will say, we're always chasing for decent value in this game, because a lot of it is just not great value, or it's horrible value, and the only reason you do it is when you have to. So
Yeah. But overall, I mean, that's what we do ourselves when it comes to all the different stuff. Honestly, it's getting to a point where, like, with the raid currency, I almost feel like it's becoming easier to farm the relic materials versus the actual signal data. Like, the signal data is kind of the thing holding me up a lot of the time. So it's kind of been an interesting shift lately.
in the economy.
Yeah, especially with the gear changes, making the double drops happen, making everything like half as worth it at that point. Like, the raid changes really kind of fixed the problem that we were having. So it's been good. I like the raid changes. I don't like the current raid. I can't wait for the next one, but hey, hopefully the next one's more friendly.
It's a tough answer. How do you make it so you push content? Anyway, we could talk about it another time.
Yeah. But speaking of all of this relic stuff, if there is something that we missed and that you think we should know about, please throw it in the comments section and we will add it to our graphic. Speaking of, let's pull it up right now. We have this little graphic where we talked about each of these little things, so make sure you go check it out. You can find it in the link in the description. You can also find it in the Discord under Damn Fine graphics. And if you have a damn fine graphic you'd like to share with the damn community, please throw it there. We are always looking for new graphics to help people out. So
yeah, hope you find it helpful, guys. Again, if you have any suggestions, or if this helped you, if this, if you find come back after 2 weeks and be like, I no longer have to worry about this gear salvage. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you guys are, what your pain points are, and what you're enjoying. So yeah, let us know.
Thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Ciao.